Hey everybody, Nick here, coming to you, talking about today our new Comp 1 course beginning this fall. Lots of changes. I know some of you have been around for a while and are pretty familiar with how we used to do things, and we're pretty excited about our new curriculum that many of us have been spending lots and lots of time on, um, kind of redoing things, coming up with some new core outcomes and stuff like that. And so I just wanted to spend just a few minutes today talking to you about our new Comp 1 um, course that we're going to be starting this fall. So what I want to talk with you a little bit about today is just some of the changes of the course, a discussion of our the way uh, how our new essays are going to be working, the major essays we'll be doing, along with some of the writing projects we'll be doing, and of course our final exam. The final exam is going to be a little bit different this semester. Um, so we'll talk a little bit about that. So what's going to be happening this semester? And of course, you'll all see as you start preparing for your classes here in the next couple of weeks, all of your courses are already out there. You'll be able to modify some of the stuff on your own, but the basic framework of your courses will have all of these new changes already out there for you. So what's changed? Well, of course, the big deal is going to be with the essays. So in the old Comp 1 courses, of course, we had the old traditional four genre type essays, right? Beginning with, and most of us kind of had it this way. Some might be a little bit different, but we'd always start with the narrative kind of essay, the memoir, the narrative memoir, and then we'd go to the research paper, maybe the exploratory informative report type thing, the major research paper, and the evaluation and the argument thing. And it was really, really tough, right? Trying to squeeze all of that in and do a 16-week course was really, really tough. Trying to, get these kids to, you know, come up with one kind of genre, figure out maybe do it. Narrative was always pretty easy, but then all of a sudden to get them to, get this research stuff down with the sources and the formatting and the documentation, citations, and now especially within the day of AI, it was just in just 4 weeks. Some of us might extend that to 5 or 6. It was really, really kind of tough and to provide feedback and maybe conferences. And then all of a sudden switching to another genre and then switching to argument with just these 4 week blocks. And then, of course, grading and stuff. It was really, really kind of cumbersome. So, a lot of us talked to other schools and, been reading much articles, just did a lot of work, even talking with the publishers of the textbooks and stuff, and came up with sort of a new curriculum that we're going to adopt this fall that we think not only will, of course, you like, but we think the students are really going to appreciate it too. And what we're going to be doing this semester is really focus on two major essays. There's going to be more writing than this, but it's really going to come down to two major papers. There's going to be more involved in this, as you'll see here in just a second, but the two big papers that we're going to be really focusing on this year is going to be an exploratory research paper and then an argument paper proposal. Um, and then also one of the things that's going to be driving all this is it's going to be essentially one topic. So really right at the start of the semester, we might have the students, be thinking about something that's really significant to them, really, a problem or an issue that's really important to them. Maybe like, so I don't know, so social media or sports or something, right? There's always something that students are really, really interested in. And that's going to be kind of the driving force of the entire semester. Everything's going to be kind of tied in together. Um, and then you'll see how this is going to work. So how is this going to work? Well, so these two major essays, why are we doing really these two major works? Well, it's going to be different than last semester because it's going to give the students time to develop their writing and research skills that they didn't have before, right? They're not going to be rushed so much, from one genre to maybe a completely different one. And then, they'll have time to really hone their skills, especially with researching stuff that we found to just be so important. Um, we'll have time as instructors to talk with them, to leave the important feedback. Hopefully, the students will spend time with that feedback. And as you'll see here a little bit later on, there's going to be a lot of focus on one of these papers where they're going to take that feedback and spend some time in revising that work. I'll talk about that in a second. But we'll just have more time with their writing, right? I mean, it's a composition course after all. We need them to write more. We just thought before that everything was just so rushed, trying to get papers back. Um, and we just didn't have that time to help them develop as writers as we really think they should. So we'll have time now, I think, to give them that personal feedback that they didn't have before. So with this first paper that we're going to start with, the exploratory research paper, it's actually going to start with, well, actually, I should probably back up first, right? We're still going to have that very first day, maybe first week, I should say, first day, maybe second day. We'll still do that pre-test, pre-writing thing. Some of us it might be I use it as a writing sample. Some of us might use it as sort of an evaluative type thing, kind of see where they all stand. But we'll still do that the first day, first week of class. But the exploratory paper is going to start with a very, very brief narrative writing. That element will still be there, but it's going to be tied into the exploratory research paper. They're going to be identifying their problem, identifying what really interests them. Um, could be again, right? If their topic, maybe it's social media or something, maybe they'll say like, you know, social media is, I've been, addicted to this. It's been a part of my life. It's how I meet my friends these days. But it's going to be a real brief narrative. It's not going to be like it was before. It's, 300 pages, 300 pages. That'd be a project. 300 words, a page, about a page, right? Identifying what their focus is, what their problem is. So that's going to be about week 3 of the semester. So just a brief narrative, and that's going to lead them into their research paper, their exploratory research paper. And we're going to spend a lot of time on that. In that unit, in that section, they'll also be doing an annotated bibliography, which would be a big project for them, right? Really digging into their sources. Some of you might have some really cool annotated bib projects you do. We've got some great ideas out there. There's one, there's a paper posted out there for you. But that will really help them learn how to, really get into their sources, learn how to evaluate their sources and, annotate them. Uh, uh, figure out what they are. So that'd be a big part of their exploratory research paper. Um, After that, they'll move on to their argument paper, and the argument paper is going to be connected to their research paper. So it's not going to be a totally different subject. If their research paper is going to be on, say, social media, the problems with social media, maybe it's so addictive, it's how they meet their friend, whatever it is, that it's a cause of mental illness, whatever it is, that's what their argument is. Their argument's going to be, maybe proposing a solution to the problems of social media or whatever their topic is, that's what their argument's going to be on. So it's going to be a follow-up or connection to what they've already started with their research paper. That's what the argument's going to be on. And so the next big project, still kind of everything is going to be dovetailing on this, is they're going to be writing a major revision. We think this is, a lot of us believe that, one of the most important parts of the writing process is revising. So they will be picking one of their, either the exploratory paper they did or the argument paper they just finished, and they will be doing a major revision. We've got a pretty detailed assignment on the major revision. It's not going to be just fixing surface level areas. It's a major revision. They're going to do a major revision of one of those papers, either the exploratory or argument paper. They're going to revise it, a major revision of one of those two. So that will be a pretty big project for them. So they're going to decide on which one they want to revise. We've got lots of, suggestions on how to do that, and that will be a big focus for them. So they'll do that, and then kind of around the same time as they're figuring out how to revise it, what to revise, we have a section on remixing. Remixing. I'll get to that in just a second. So they're going to remix one of the two major essays, remixing it, which is actually a really cool thing. Um, and after they're done remixing it, they're going to present on what they remixed. We think that'd be a pretty cool thing. So, what exactly is a remix? A remix. So that is, so say they're doing something like their topic is social media. Again, it could be anything. Remixing it is they're going to, again, everything's going to be kind of dovetailing off one another. So they might start with like maybe the research paper or maybe the argument, and then they're going to remix it, sort of transforming it to something else. Maybe they want to make like a video of it, or it could be a podcast. It really depends, and you'll see as you read through your text and stuff more of what this is. But it could be something really, really cool. And it depends on, this is actually really important, the audience and the rhetorical situation. So depending on what their topic is, it depends on how they want to remix it. So, for example, if it's, say, social media, maybe they'll want to put together, may want to remix it into maybe like a blog, or maybe a short video, maybe even a podcast, an infographic or something, maybe kind of a cool little meme. Um, Maybe if they're talking about climate change or something, maybe they'd want to remix it into like an infographic to show you how, okay, well, this is how climate change was, a few years ago, but now look what's happened over the years. And then maybe they want to develop a little video or something. It could be really, really cool. And we think, the students will really, really enjoy something like this, right? I mean, you know, think about how, everybody I don't want to say that they hate just typing and typing and typing and writing revision, 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 but if they could start getting into actually producing videos or podcasts or the sky is the limit, right? There's all sorts of cool things you can do, comic strips, timelines, could be anything, video, photo montages, web pages. You could do like, I don't even music videos. Who knows? The sky's the limit. I mean, some of these kids can come up with some really, really cool ideas. And the text has some really interesting ideas too, right? So they're going to remix that text into something new that sort of develops from that first text. It can be a really, really cool thing. And then, so the last week, actually the last 2 weeks, they're going to give the class a presentation on what that project sort of developed into, right? So you can imagine they're going to share with the class, what they've been researching all semester, what they've argued all semester, and share with the class, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I've been working on all semester. This is what social media has done to me, or this is what climate change, or this is what sports injuries might. They might even share X-rays of their leg injury or something, right? I mean, imagine how cool this will be, not only to us, but to the students, right? It'd be so much more interesting than, reading dull essays all semester. Right, I shouldn't say that, but you get the idea, right? This could be a really, really, really cool project for everybody. It should be a lot of fun, a lot of fun. Um, so that's how the semester is going to go, right? So it's going to start kind of slow, narrating, what the problem is, going to researching the problem, researching the issue, arguing the solution, and then remixing it into something cool. And then finally, the final, the final exam is not going to be the standard essays we've been doing all semester or all for years and years and years. It's going to be it's going to be a final reflection and evaluation of, how they felt about what they've learned, what they've thought about, how their remix, answered the rhetorical situation, what they learned through everything, all that kind of stuff. Pretty brief, only a couple of pages, but it'd be really important too. right? We don't want them to just write things like, "Oh, I liked it. It was great." But the assignment's already out there, so there's lots of questions, that we want them to answer, to think about, um, and all that. So it should be a pretty cool project. It's really, when you think about it, a year-long project for them. We think by getting them so interested in this really project, this writing, that they'll be more invested in doing research on something that they're interested in. They'll be interested and engaged in their writing, um, maybe less engaged in, generating AI essays, which I'm sure some of you know has been kind of problematic in the last few years. So it should be pretty cool, right? And as I'm sure you know, there's nothing better than reading for us, papers that, these kids are genuinely interested in writing. So we think it'd be a lot of fun. I know I and a lot of us who've been working on this stuff for about the last year are really excited about embarking on. So hopefully you will like this and be interested in, and hope you will join us in embracing this new curriculum. Certainly, if you have any questions, please reach out to me or any of us in the department, and we will be happy to help you. So, thanks very much. We look forward to working with you here in the coming weeks. Have a great semester, and we will talk with you soon. Take care.